Thank you, Pamela. You know, all morning long we've been hearing impressions from different people, reporters, as well as folks who lived through this hurricane in terms of what they're seeing, what they felt, what they went through. Somebody who not only went through Hurricane Andrew, but actually did a wonderful job in covering that and became a hero of sorts because of Hurricane Andrew and is now with us here at CBS 4 is Bryan Norcross. And we have Bryan on the phone with your personal impressions, Bryan, in terms of what you're seeing this morning.
Well, you look at the aerials, and of course, anyone that lived through Hurricane Andrew can't help but have deja vu. The homes ripped apart, and you know, every one of those houses, every one of those buildings that belonged to somebody, and somebody's life is involved in that. And you know, we went through it person by person. Hundreds and hundreds of thousands of folks in South Dade went through this, and now it's going to be not on the same scale over there because it's not so big a place, but not that that really makes any difference because it's still individuals. It looks, you could roll back that Hurricane Andrew tape, and this is what it was right here. This is it. Now, you know, Hurricane Andrew, I'm just comparing the two storms. There were some similarities in that both of them, the core of both of them was very small. So, you know, Punta Gorda apparently was the homestead of this one, but Fort Myers, which is not too terribly far away, were very much like, you know, Miami or someplace in North Miami, didn't get anywhere near as much. It was the same kind of a very, very tight core, and you just had to sort of be unlucky to be in the way of it. The good news here on our coast is we have better built buildings, and I think it's going to come out that we have a better emergency management system, even though back in Hurricane Andrew days, our emergency management system was just a shell of what we have today here. Clearly, there was some problem over there that they were unable to react properly. And I guess it also speaks volumes that the Sheriff's Department came apart, and that was their emergency management center that couldn't withstand the hurricane. So anyway, there's obviously going to be a lot of looking at what went wrong in terms of getting people out of dangerous places, but you look at the scenes that we're seeing from the helicopter, and it reminds me exactly of what we saw 12 years ago.
Bryan, let's talk a little bit more about what possibly could have gone wrong in terms of people getting out in time, because both Port Charlotte and Punta Gorda were under hurricane warning right from 5:00 p.m. on Thursday. Now, the hurricane hit at 3:30 on Friday, so they had almost 24 hours notice. What do you think went wrong there in terms of that distance of time between folks knowing that there's a hurricane warning and getting out in time?
Well, it's not hard to imagine what went wrong with people in their houses because people do try, and they want to stay. Everybody wants to stay. But this mobile home park business, because even if they thought, okay, maybe it's going to be a hurricane, but it's only going to be a Category 1 hurricane, it's just so well known that every mobile home is evacuated for every hurricane. We don't even like people staying in mobile homes for tropical storms. And so the fact that somehow scores of people, maybe hundreds of people in that area stayed in their mobile homes, just as a testament, or unless the authorities tried to get them out and they said, no, I don't care what you say, I'm not going. You know, the fact is we don't drag people out of their homes that are determined to stay. But if there was no overt action by government, and it's all speculation at this point, and you hate to indict anybody, you know, without really knowing how hard they tried. But just from what we're hearing from the reporters that were over there and listening to the media and watching the authorities work, it seems like the authorities were caught by surprise that they were going to have a hurricane. And, you know, we saw it turn at 11 o'clock. Even if you say, okay, they really thought it was going to Tampa, we saw it turn at 11 o'clock. And give them an hour to say, uh-oh, it really has turned. They had 3 hours to move people from really dangerous places to places that were relatively safe, you know, concrete block buildings. And although obviously over there they have some serious problem with their building code because a lot of concrete block buildings fell down as well. But in any case, get them out of those mobile homes. So it's going to be a very important discussion on what the mechanism was for notifying people, for talking to people, for coercing people. You know, did somebody from emergency management in Charlotte County get on the television and radio in every station and insist that they could get on and say, here is the message, get out now, you know, in the most affirmative way is what you have to do, and you have to send police to these places with bullhorns and make sure people understand the level of seriousness. We talked to some folks yesterday that said, these hurricanes come along, people hype these hurricanes. Well, it's not so much that people hype them, it's that, for instance, in Tampa, I'm sure there are a lot of people in Tampa saying, oh, they hyped this thing and we went through all this aggravation. But the fact is that, we don't live in 2104, we live in 2004, and maybe 100 years from now we'll be able to split the hairs there and know, okay, it's not going to Tampa, it's going to Port Charlotte. But in this day and age, in modern science, as good as it is, it's not good enough to distinguish between those two places as far as a future track 24 hours in advance, and that's why the hurricane warning is put up that far in advance. So, there's a lot of education, but there seems to me that the emergency management folks, if they didn't understand it was coming and had the potential to come and be very strong in Charlotte County and in Collier County and Lee County, they should have, and they should have gotten the word out. But we'll have to assess what the message was and what overt actions were taken once the sort of the pieces are picked up a little bit, and you take care of the individuals involved here and be sure as many people can be taken care of are taken care of, and then you can look back and really figure out what went wrong.
All righty, we appreciate your time, Bryan. CBS 4 Chief Meteorologist Bryan Norcross. Thanks, Bryan.
See you later in the day.
All righty.
And our team coverage